next speaker is Wayne Scott. Mr. Scott, and then after that Alan Isey, and then following that Angela Bishop. You have 5 minutes, sir. Welcome.
Are we on now?
There we are.
Thanks very much, folks. It's wonderful to see you all again here today. I've been doing this for a long time, and hopefully, I'd like to apologize right off the bat for being here again to do this, and hopefully this is the last time I'll do it. I'll just give you a little bit of background. I was born in Toronto, a couple hundred yards from here, 60 years ago. I'm a great-grandfather. I've never driven a car in the city. I've never applied for a driver's license. It hasn't been necessary. 30 years into my artistic career, I decided that I wasn't doing enough to make the changes necessary to my hometown that were necessary to leave a better place for future generations. So 30 years ago, I quit the music business and I became a bike courier. So I could get out on the roads, move our freight around, service all the different communities, all the businesses, the government, the artistic community, the professions, and move freight around the city without fouling the atmosphere, and without making it worse for people. And I did that for 25 years. I worked on a bike, I worked on foot, and I worked on the TTC, moving freight, hauling stuff around the city. And never fouling the atmosphere. About 15 years into that, it also became apparent that the rest of the city was starting to notice this type of stuff, and that somebody had to come and provide a slightly different perspective to the skewed perspective, the contrived perspective that folks that are involved in our automotive addiction in this society were bringing to the table. So it's a duty of mine to come here and explain this slightly less contrived perspective on how we move in the city. Today we are seeing a plan that the mayor has endorsed. It's the Mayor Ford bike plan. And I think what we've got to do is look at what that plan wants to do, what the purpose of it is. To someone like me, it's obvious that what the mayor wants to do is get the cyclists, who he refers to at City Council when he was a councillor as pains in the ass for motorists, off the roads, out of the way, in the suburban meandering riverbank valleys, marginalize us down there, put us in separated bike lanes, Councillor Minnan Wong's idea of 4 enclosed bike lanes that circle the core, and then we'll be out of the way. It's not to serve people that are on bicycles, that are serving the community on bicycles, the professionals who do this work constantly moving freight around our city. We have to go to all the destination-rich locales, all the destination-rich streets, the main arterials, to do our work, to function. But we're being pushed away from those. The idea of the enclosed bike lanes is fine, but how do you get to them? Right? I mean, we're hearing that it's going to encourage cycling from people, amateurs, that it's going to put new people out on the streets. It's a sexy idea and that gets the press. But does it really improve anything? Is St. George going to be any safer because there's a curb running down the middle of the road? I don't think so. St. George operates fine. There's a different agenda other than improving transportation in this city from the mayor's plan. And I think it's obvious. Everybody knows it. Even if you don't agree with the cycling idea, you know that this is not about making our city move better. It's about keeping the cyclists out of the way. And hopefully will go away. Well, it's not going to happen. It's not happening worldwide, right? We're the joke. And I've been awarded awards by the city after my tax fight with the federal government to show the system or the mainstream that there is a different skewed way of looking at this that our society generally takes to this issue. and it's false. I will say that if you try to take bike lanes out that are already in, there's a difference between being derelict in providing safe infrastructure. It's a completely different matter to remove safer infrastructure that's already in place. So, thanks very much, folks.
If I could, just one quick question.
Yes.
That last point is rather intriguing, and I haven't heard it yet. The safety of cycling on streets in the outer core on Pharmacy and Birchmount. If we remove that bike lane and someone and an accident occurs, where do you think the liability is on that?
Well, I think the liability, I think, should be, the city should be taken to task on all this. We know what we're supposed to be doing. Everybody here knows that we're supposed to be making this city more sustainably mobile and more efficiently mobile, but we are not doing that. By going in the opposite direction, we are saying, if you look at all the policy documents the city has had for the last 30 years, we know that we're supposed to be addressing the problems that the overuse of the automobile has visited upon our city. And we're not doing that. If we go in the opposite direction, we are giving more ammunition to any cyclist, any pedestrian that's hit out there on the unsafe designed, improperly maintained streets of Toronto, to say, okay, it's the city's fault. The city is complicit in the injuries that are happening on our city streets because we are not dealing with this realistically.
And are you aware that Toronto has one of the highest cyclist accident rates in the entire country?
Well, we saw that come out recently, but I've been awarded some citations from around the world for my work as far as trying to get food recognized as fuel for active transportation people. And when I talk to these people, everybody has heard about how ridiculous this city is and how we're getting further and further away from the trends that are happening worldwide. Our mayor, my friend Rob Ford, he refers to me in his famous Jarvis bike lane speech. He referred to his downtown courier friends. Well, I talked to him when you were gassing the local committees, the citizens committees recently. And I talked to him, I cornered him outside the washroom just before, when I had to leave for a federal debate, when we were doing this. And I talked to him about the fact that his success and your success is going to be on actually dealing with the transportation problem in Toronto, not covering it up. The next election comes around, the electorate is going to be just as angry with the people on this council as they were on the last council if they can't move in the city. So there's where the success is. And Mayor Ford said that in his statement on the Jarvis bikes, when he was talking about his friends in the courier community, who he's discussed all this with, it was me that he was talking about. And it came from a conversation we had when I phoned him up the day that he mentioned that all cyclists that die on our roads are the authors of our own fate because our roads are made for buses and cars and trucks. It's ludicrous. And this kind of attitude and the fact that our mayor is the poster boy for the problem, not the solution, just adds more fuel to anybody who does want to take the city to court after they're injured and saying the city is partly or totally complicit in my injury, depending on what the specific circumstances are.
And I'll conclude my comments with, or my questions with that statement.